I come from a family of people who were deeply ideologically interested. We came from various parts of the political spectrum, all of them on the left, but it ranged from fellow travelers to liberals to socialists to Marxists. And our dinner conversation was always about these things, about what is socialism and what is the Soviet Union, because after all, the Soviet Union was the only or the first socialist society. But we also knew that something had gone a little wrong with the project. And I was always curious to know, and to answer to my own satisfaction, whether or not this is what socialism had to look like. So what better way to do that than to start studying Russia as history? So I started learning Russia as an undergraduate. Then I went and did my MA in England, and after England I did my PhD at Columbia, uptown from here, and got into questions of, what is it about Russia and what is it about socialism, and produced this. My first project was about agrarian development, because Russia was an agrarian society, which is about to have a revolution. Not what you'd expect from a Marxist country, but what kind of development was being foreseen for peasants and for the country as a whole. My second project, a big one at least, was about fiscal history and taxation. And this one allowed me to study both before and after 1917, and to figure out what were the continuities, what were the ruptures, what were the changes, and to start to draw some conclusions about whether or not this is socialism because it's Russia, or socialism because it's socialism. And that's where I rested there. I decided then to take a little detour, both chronologically and geographically. And so the anniversary of the Greek Revolution is coming up in 2021. That'll be the 200 years. And the Greek Revolution has been studied always as this national project, carried out by people who were Greeks since the time of Plato, if not before. And it's just a matter of time before they come into being as a revolutionary movement. And it didn't make sense to me, because the Greeks didn't actually live in a place called Greece, and they didn't even call themselves Greeks. They called themselves other things. I said, where am I going to find the Greeks? I mean, where do you find Greeks before there's a Greeks? And where do you find Greeks when they don't call themselves Greeks? Well, the answer is they live in the empires. And so the first one for me is the Russian Empire, where you have a lot of the Greeks living as subjects of the Tsar. And the Greek Revolution is actually hatched in Odessa. And from there I went on to Paris, and I went on to London, I went on to Switzerland, and studied in those archives. And I've been putting together a project on the Greek Revolution as a product of imperial rivalry.